Hi guys.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, I think we finally got our video working, week 2, so we'll see how this goes.
Yes, I do apologize for my lighting. I'm still working on, I don't know, professional lighting. We're not professionals by any means, so I'm just found a spot in my house that looked the best, I thought. So here I am, sitting on my living room floor, my formal living room, not even my comfortable one.
I mean, your formal living room is great, so it's fine. It's
Thank
fine.
you. I'm
Uh,
looking back at my chairs right now and thinking my mom's going to say, you should have turned your chairs. But I'm not going to do that. It's fine.
we would have loved to be a little more put together, I feel like, for our first video feed, but there
Yes.
was a hurricane and we both didn't have power up until like 30 minutes ago or something
About
crazy,
I
like all day.
ended up getting power this afternoon, so I still had to sign on to work, which was fine. And I was going to do my hair for the last 30 minutes or I was going to stitch for 30 minutes. And I chose to stitch. So I think everybody listening would probably agree with
Appreciate
me.
that.
Yes.
I chose pouring a cocktail. This
Oh,
Prosecco
yes.
was much needed after being in a
Cheers.
house with no power. Cheers. With a 4-year-old all day. Everyone was sweaty. Everyone was cranky.
Yes. And you're in the low country, so it's
We're better now.
nice and humid down there. It was humid here too in the Midlands.
Yeah. So
So
a
we
little
hope
bit
everybody who was in
rough.
the Helene's path is
Yes.
happy and safe. And if you don't have power yet, I hope you get it soon. And I hope all the LNSs survived and y'all open up again real soon. Because I know mine closed today, which is totally understandable because the roads were not
Yeah.
great.
I think ours is actually open, but the island fared pretty well. So
Nice.
that's
Yeah.
good. But yeah, I hope everyone
Yes,
is
surprisingly, the
safe.
mountains did not. That the beach did okay and the mountains did not this time around.
Oh,
So, mhm.
well. Oh, well, we're thinking about everyone. So,
Yes, of
um,
course.
and speaking of everyone, thank you all so much for your support this week. When we launched our first episode, I'm about to be really self-conscious about my facial expression.
I know.
But between launching our first podcast episode and my designs being on market for the first time, I have had the worst imposter syndrome this week. So
No, I know.
let's see.
Same
We're just
here
gonna keep
with the
going.
podcast. I didn't design anything. So, but yeah, it's been a fun, not even a whirlwind, but it's just been fun to hear everybody's feedback. We got good and okay feedback, which I did appreciate because we
Right,
can work on
right.
everything. And we're just really excited to keep this one going. And I hope everybody on their commute, or if they're stitching or sitting at work or waiting for a play date to start, I don't know. We hope y'all continue to listen and watch and then just enjoy.
Yeah, again, sincerely appreciate the great response. Everyone was so kind. And yes, constructive feedback, but we really love that you guys felt like you were sitting and hanging out at Stitch Club with your friends. That was really the goal, and that's what we hope to
Yes,
continue.
that's the ultimate goal, is to just have everybody feel like they're just hanging out and
Right.
just enjoy. And when you can't make it to Stitch Club, you can just at least turn one on and stitch away if you'd like.
Yeah. Speaking
So,
of stitching, what are you working on right now? And did you get any time to stitch besides 30 minutes today?
well, I didn't get as much to stitch as I wanted as my Penny Lynn whip bag. I love it. Um, I am still working on my first Squatty Santa. That was my grandmother's. I'm making one for each of my family members. So my husband, my son, and me. This one's mine because I was starting to, and okay, yes, I am trying to do the outline. Highly recommend disappearing ink to everybody because I'm not so great at this part. So the purple will disappear, but the blue will stay, and it's going to be a
It's
oddly
fine.
shaped. Yeah, he's fine. He'll be fine.
Oh, you got the
Um,
frame locks. This has nothing to do with the canvas, but you
yes,
got the frame locks. Do you like them?
I really like them
Okay.
because I also do my stretcher bars. We'll get to this, but I do my stretcher bars kind of different. I think the majority does them with the canvas on top, but I realized that when I stitch, I actually hold on to the canvas really tight and I
I do
push
that
down
too.
really hard. So it's best if I'm just pushing down on the stretcher bars and not touching the canvas as much. So right now I'm thinking of background color for him, and I will be doing turkey work all along his coat cuffs and his hat, hopefully this weekend. So we'll see.
That's gonna look so cute.
I'm
So cute.
excited. I have to go to my store and get the purple that I want because I don't have it here. So I did not get to stitch as much as I wanted to this week because of work and children and doctor's appointments. So hopefully this weekend. So we'll see.
Yes, I hear that. I didn't get as much time as I wanted to either, but hopefully this weekend. Although tomorrow we're going to a beer fest, and
That sounds like fun.
on Sunday we're going to a Savannah Bananas game. So not a lot of stitching time this
Oh,
weekend,
that's
but
right. You told
my
me about that.
daughter is gonna have a lot of fun. We're taking my nephew and their besties, so it'll be great. Um,
A
I'm gonna
lot of fun
try.
kid time.
Yes, I'm gonna try and show. I'm gonna cover the letter because this is a gift. But this is one of the Abigail Cecil
Mm. Oh,
charts.
her rounds.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
being like, sorry, this is weird, but I don't want anyone to see. I am trying to sew on my cording for the first time. Bravest girl in the world over here. I have never sewed on my cording. I've always glued it, which I know.
Wow, really?
Don't come for me.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's just no matter what anyone tells me, the like sewing the cording through is so different to me than stitching. Like they are not the same, and I have been scared of it. So I
That's good.
already had to rip it off once, and we're gonna try again this weekend.
Okay. I'm excited for you. That looks, the cording is really, well, how many strands of, do you use DMC?
I use DMC.
5 or 3? The thicker one or the thinner one?
The thinner one, 5.
5. Okay. It looks
Yeah,
good.
so it could be tighter, but it's been sitting here for a couple days, so I might try and reattach it to the laces and spin her back up. But I also I'm just adding a quick little border to this little pumpkin.
Cute little pumpkin.
This pumpkin is from Saturnalia, and last Halloween, maybe I think, she was doing a free little pumpkin canvas with a purchase. And
Oh, so had to make a purchase.
I love a free gift.
I know you do.
I will do anything
I know you do.
for a free gift. I had to buy a canvas so I could get the Penny Lynn scissors.
Okay, whatever. I did that too.
I just bought a new canvas from Mopsy Designs last night because she's doing a free gift until October 1st, and she
So
might even
cute.
throw her sparkle bags in there as one of them, like her glitter
Ooh, a good project
bags.
bag, always.
So it's random, but I'll take my chances because again, I love a free gift. But this, I had to bust this out on the first day of fall this year because it's so cute and it was such a quick little stitch. Just came up, stitched together real quickly. I'm just adding like one white row around, so I can tuck it in for finishing and not have to tuck in part of my pumpkin.
How are you planning on finishing it?
I actually might make this into a magnet because
Oh, that's a cute idea.
it's very small.
Teeny, yeah.
See, this is my finger for scale. So he's very small. So I think it'd be a little hard to make him into a ornament or something hanging. So I think I might do a magnet, and then
That's
it's
a
like
good
a
idea.
seasonal little refrigerator decoration, which
Yeah,
I have. So
I love it. I don't have any. I feel like my kid would just like reach for them. So maybe like in a few years, I will do some magnets. But until then, when I've got grabby
put them
hands,
high up, the highest point of the
yeah. But
fridge.
somehow he's like a Superman when it comes to reaching things that he shouldn't have. So maybe one day I'll work on some magnets. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm always trying to think of ways that I can display it at home, which is like a full topic for another day. But since we're talking about this one,
Yeah.
not everything has to be an ornament or something.
I'm impressed that you did. Did you have stretcher bars on that one?
I did, and I think this is another controversial topic that you don't need stretcher bars on things this small, but I am also a person who pushes on my canvas and I will hold it weird. So it's purely for my own accountability. I mean, again, guys, this is small. This is the size of my hand. I did not need stretcher bars, but like they make me feel more comfortable.
I have to have them because I don't know. Well, I think it's starting to hurt my hands if I don't have one. And then if I do, that's okay. Try to mute yourself so you can have also. For the longest time, I never ever used stretcher bars. And then when I picked needlepoint back up, like doing it a ton after college and like in the late 2010s, like my hands were bothering me. So my mom was like, here, you're just going to have to use stretcher bars. You're like me. So I use them on everything except for a belt. I have to have them. So when people say you don't have to, I'm like, no, yeah, I do. I
This
have
is where I
to.
think you're one of the traditionalists because
I am.
you're like, guys, use
But
stretcher bars.
I did post, I posted on my feed a year or so ago. I did I think it was a Hook and Harbor Harry Potter 9 3/4 like trolley,
Mhm.
like train trolley. And I was
Yes,
like, this is why I have to use stretcher bars because my entire, it's like completely tilted. It's
I
awful.
remember that. I remember
And I
that.
was too lazy to find them or go get them. And I wanted to start that immediately. So I was like, I don't need them. And then it's like a trapezoid. It's not great.
Yeah,
So I have to,
I
but
use
you're
stretcher
right.
bars.
That's part of my traditionalist
Um,
rules for myself.
Speaking of Harry Potter, these are the kinds of tangents, guys, that we're gonna get off on this podcast. Ignore how I just said that. That was weird. We haven't talked about today yet how our girl, Professor McGonagall, the
I
great Maggie
know.
Smith, has passed away, and
Same. Same Maggie
very, very
Smith.
sad.
Makes me so sad because she was like my last grandmother figure. And I tell you
Yes.
what, it's always September. It's the Queen died in September. My own grandmother died in September. Dame Maggie Smith died in September, and Betty White died in January. Angela Lansbury, those were my 5 ladies, my grandmother figures, and now
Now they're gone.
Maggie Smith. I tell you,
Did you know, fun
breaks my
fact,
heart.
and then we'll get back to needlepoint. Kennedy is my daughter. I don't think I've said her name. So Kennedy is my daughter. She's 4. She has the same birthday as Betty White.
Oh,
And I love
that's
that for her.
nice. That's so nice.
And Michelle Obama, which I also love for her.
I'm trying to think. I believe Patrick Swayze died on my birthday. So my birthday's not very, I don't know of anybody who was born on my birthday.
Okay,
I
well,
know
you're cursed.
Patrick Swayze died on my birthday. It was really sad. Um, yeah, so I hate that Maggie Smith died, but of course, she's a legend and will always be Harry Potter first for me and then Downton Abbey. But
I still haven't watched Downton Abbey, so Harry
oh, you
Potter all the
should.
way for me.
Highly
I've heard
recommend.
that. I know. I'm gonna add it to the list. The list is too long. I'll get to them all at some
I
point.
know. I'm just a rewatcher now. You recommend a show to me, I'm probably not going to watch it, to be honest.
Right. I'm in the middle of, obviously right now because it's fall, my 57th Gilmore Girls rewatch. I just finished a Parks and Rec rewatch. I just love a comfort show.
Me too. And currently mine is SVU. So
Same.
a little, it's not so much comfort as it is crime and
It is to
sadness, but I
me.
do love it. Well,
Mariska
Mariska
Hargitay,
Hargitay was a Kappa, so
and
I'm
she brings me
all
comfort.
about
So
it. Me too.
yes, and she was a Kappa, which, in case you didn't read our bio, that is the sorority that we were in at University of South Carolina. That's where we met. So we
Yay.
love all of our Kappa sisters, especially the famous ones who don't know we exist.
That's cruel. That's true. They do know we exist because we're sorority sisters.
Technically, they can look us up.
Anyway, so back to needlepoint.
Yes.
Today we thought we would talk about, and listen, y'all, we are not trying to do 101s because we're professionals or we know everything. This is just stuff that works for us. Kelsey is a newer stitcher who learned something most recently, and then me as a experienced stitcher, I don't want to say your experience, but you know what I mean. I've been stitching a little bit
Longer term
longer.
stitcher, I
Yes.
guess. Yeah.
Thank you. But we put up a poll to see if anybody had any thoughts or ideas. And oh, I should have gotten one of my ornaments with a French knot. Oh well. Someone asked
Oh,
about, I don't have one on me. Someone asked about, I think it was like the basics of French knots. French knots and then the basics to basket weave, I believe is what, and then point them in the direction of a more like how to do basket weave instead of, I don't know, because as I understand it with basket weave, one of my best friends who just learned how to do it, she was like, can you explain to me the poles and stairs? And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard of, do you understand that? I've never heard
I
of,
think the poles and the stairs make sense to me.
it makes
But like,
zero sense to me.
but when
None.
you put in our show notes, New York to
Arizona to New
Arizona?
York.
That makes no sense to
How did,
me.
oh, I'm not gonna go. Okay. Right. The poles and stairs, I swear she asked me that. And it was probably like, when kids bring home their math homework now and parents are like, they look at it like it's like Egyptian hieroglyphics. Like that's me with poles and stairs. Zero. I have no idea what that means. I guess it's in the back of the canvas, how the stitch goes. Because it's certainly not in the front. It's not.
Maybe, maybe I don't understand.
I think it's the back of the canvas. I don't understand. Anyway,
All I know is what it's supposed to look like and the
that's
way it's supposed to go. So I can do that, I guess. Except for the time that you called me out that I did. You were like, "You're not left-handed. Why does your canvas look like this?"
when you were going
Because I had
Florida to
went
Seattle.
Florida to Seattle, and I was like, "Nope, just turned it. Forgot. We're going with it. It's fine." This is why it was just for me. It was just for an insert for a jewelry box for me, so I don't really care. It
Okay, well
still
then
looks the same.
rephrase and don't say that I was like, why are you doing that? I asked if it was I was just like, oh, are you left-handed? I wasn't mean about
Okay,
it.
you're right. You weren't mean about it. That was me. I don't have a ton of, we'll get back to basket weave in a second. I don't have a ton of French knot experience because I'll be a little bit vulnerable for a moment. I took a ribbon class last week, 2 weeks ago, during the Needlepoint Junction retreat. I went to the ribbon class because I have a couple of canvases over here, like this one,
Ooh,
that I want
I
to
love the
do
hydrangea.
the flowers in ribbon
Oh my
and make this
gosh.
into a tray for
Oh,
my coffee table or for my ottoman. And then I can't find the girl, but I have one of those floral dress girls as well.
yeah. Oh my
Needlepoint
gosh, those
Junction
are
has posted
so
about them a
pretty.
lot. And I want to
Mm-hmm.
do that in floral, or in ribbon. So I took a ribbon class. Um, and the teacher was great. Andrea at Needlepoint Junction. She's an excellent teacher. But she was like teaching us a ribbon French knot. And she was like, okay, so then you just do a French knot. And I was the youngest person in the room by
Uh-oh.
far, the least experienced stitcher in the room by far. And I had to be like, I've never done a French knot before because they have scared me. So someone teach me. But
Yeah.
it was actually really not hard. I have my little sampler thing here. I'll try and hold it up. You can, like, depending on how much you twist, how much you wrap
Yeah.
the needle around, like the bigger, smaller the knot's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would probably recommend the Stitch Vault on KCN
Yes.
if you can find like a
The
YouTube
stitch
or
needlepoint.com has a YouTube
yes,
video of
yes,
a French knot. I would recommend so back to the stretcher bars. I feel like with French knots, you have to have two hands.
yes.
I feel like, so if you don't use stretcher bars, that's going to make it really difficult. And I would also recommend a stand, but I understand stands are really expensive and they're not in everybody's budget. They're just not. And that was a huge splurge for me like 2 years ago. So I totally get it. Um, but it's best to have them. So even if you're just like using a stretcher bar, you
Mm-hmm.
can rest it on your table, you can rest it on your
Mm-hmm.
lap kind of deal, or even like hold it like between your knees, and then you can have your
Yes.
double hand, you can have both your hands to work on it. Um, and then consistency is so important with something like a French knot. So you want to use the same kind of tension in each one, and you want to go up. Honestly, I don't go up and back down through the same canvas hole because I pull right through it. I
I had to see
can't do
what I
it.
did.
I can't do up and down through the same one. I do like as if I was doing a normal 10 stitch. So like up one and then like completely like diagonal, like a normal 10 stitch.
I think that's what I did too.
Because if I do the same one, I'll just pull right through it. I guess
Yeah.
I'm pulling too. I don't recommend pulling hard at all, but sometimes when you want like a specific size, you have to pull, and
Mm-hmm.
I would just recommend consistency on your tension, and whichever way you stitch it, it needs to be the same way each time, and not, which is really the case for most stitches.
Right.
I would assume is consistency is so important, especially in even like with beading and
Right.
no.
It also kind of depends on what thread you're using too, because some of them will some of them are smoother than others and might pull through the
Yeah.
canvas a little bit easier. So you really have to
Hmm.
watch that tension. Me saying that as someone who just practiced for shots for the first time 2 weeks ago, but in general, whatever stitch you're doing, different threads, might are going to pull differently, and you're going to need to use different tension. So
Hmm.
that is definitely something to pay attention to. But as someone who has been scared of French knots for the past 2 years, I'm here to tell you that it was not as difficult as it seemed. It looks harder than it is, I think. And it's one of those things that if you practice it a few times, it'll seem pretty easy. So, or not easy, more manageable, and then eventually easy. But so I would definitely take the chance, because I think I have definitely shied away from some harder stitches and things like that,
Hmm.
because they seem daunting.
It's easy
But
to do. It's really easy to do. Just to be like,
again,
I'm good. I don't really, I mean, compensating is also like you, but French knots, and also with French knots, they're really forgiving. You can, if you don't like the look of one, you can take it out. It's really easy to take out and do it
right,
again. So that's, I
right.
like that about French knots as well, because they'll give you a really more sophisticated look, but they're,
Mhm.
once you get the hang of it, I mean, I have to take mine out often. Like I'm not like whipping up French knots and just
Right.
try one is the best, because I do take it out a good bit, and they're forgiving, which I appreciate that about French knots.
They're for me one of those things that I was glad that I had someone in person, like
Hmm.
over my shoulder teaching me, which honestly is I think what I need for the cording sewing on. I was watching the Nashville Needlepointer YouTube videos, tutorials for sewing on the cording, and like I can see it. It makes sense. Like her tutorial is so good, but I just couldn't get it to work. And I think again, like there are some things that just might be easier if you are taking an in-person class, or you have a friend that already knows how to do it.
Hmm. Oh, for
Someone
sure.
asking someone in your stitch group to show you in real life. Because I'm a super visual learner, and sometimes like the videos even, or a guide is not doesn't help me get it. Like I need someone to be like, okay,
And especially
stand
as
there,
someone to say
pull
like,
it. Right,
this is what you're doing wrong. You know, it's
right.
kind of like taking a yoga class. They come over and correct your form in person, but doing it on YouTube or on the Peloton, you don't know when you're doing it wrong.
You're like Joey in
They're
the
like, I'm
friend
not
in
sure if this should hurt or not, but I'm
you're
going
like
with it.
Joey in the Friends episode where he's learning French, and
Yeah.
the the video just keeps going, good job, and
Thank you.
he's not speaking French. That is me trying to like watch a coding tutorial and do it myself.
Yeah.
I
I
can't,
had to
like,
watch a
it's just
ton
hard.
of videos and tutorials. I haven't taken a finishing class in person. I did buy the Abigail Cecil video class, which I
Yes.
thought was really, really worth it. And I love classes that online classes, especially because, and on needlepoint.com, you can just go back and rewatch them as much as you want, which I've taken the needlepoint.com turkey work class, and I'm going to have to reference it this weekend when I try to do that squatty Santa turkey work, because I couldn't just like do it. There's no way. I'll have to watch the class again.
That's another one I'm scared of, but maybe I'll do it one day.
That one, okay, I will admit that's a little, that one's intimidating. It
We
is,
all
but it's,
gotta
I mean,
start
you
somewhere.
can do it. It's just, it's intimidating. I don't
Yeah.
love it, but I love the look of it. So,
It looks so good. I don't know if you have seen Hillary Fisk Hippie Makes on Instagram
mhm.
and Substack. Did you see
I'm
that
on her
stock?
Substack. I had to sign up for her Substack. It's
Oh,
amazing.
same, same. That was I immediately subscribed. But did you see her stocking that she shared
Hmm.
with the giant Santa coat full of turkey work? It looked so good.
I know. I wish I had all my stuffs over there where I was originally going to set up, but I did a fox, a stand-up fox, and his tail is turkey worked, and he's so cute, and the effect is so worth
Mhm.
the labor and pain of doing turkey work, because it's I don't know. I mean, I'm sure once you get used to it, I just don't do it that often to be able to just
Yeah,
whip it up, and I'm gonna have to
right.
go back to my class and
I don't
pretty
even
much
think I
rewatch the whole thing.
I don't think I have anything. I'm looking right now that would turkey work would look good on, but now maybe I'll have to get something so
And you
something to
do
be
have to
turkey
get
work on.
you have to get I don't remember if it's Bunka or Bunko brush to brush out so you do need
Oh,
tools.
I have one of those.
I do too. I got it when I did the fox, and that's the only time I've ever done turkey work. So
I have heard people say that curved scissors are helpful for turkey work too,
yes,
but
for the
not a
trimming.
necessity.
It's good for the trimming.
But not a necessity. But again, if your brain works like mine, you hear that and all you hear is, okay, I must go buy curved scissors right now in case I ever do turkey work. And I'm
I
like, I gotta
did.
buy all the tools.
You can get it like a 2-pack on Amazon for really cheap. I
Oh, good
can
to know.
post that link because it's really I think I bought them twice because I misplaced them at one point, and then so it's like $7.99 for 2 pair, and they're really good. They're really good quality. So
I'll have to grab some of those
yeah,
um, for when I ever decide to do turkey work.
you should. And
Maybe one
when you
day.
get to those stockings, you'll get there. You'll want to do like Santa's beard. Personally, I don't. I mean, I obviously to each their own, but I personally love a more clean Santa beard, and that's why I did for the squatty Santa. His beard is very clean. I think I did a double
Oh yeah, I
Parisian
see it.
stitch. So I'm gonna do, but for his cuffs, I mean, it's
I mean, the
gonna be furry.
cuffs look so good in turkey work.
He'll be
Like
so
a
cute.
nice furry look. Yeah, he's gonna
Yeah.
be really cute.
And then I went to needlepoint.com over the summer with my mom in Charleston, and they had fur pom-poms. So I got a few of those to
Ooh.
put for his hat. And then Stitching Fox and Landrum had jingle bells. So I'll put jingle bells on
Oh,
his
it's
hat.
gonna
I
look
can't wait.
so good.
He's gonna be I love it. I can't wait.
I think that you saying bells reminded me, I think someone asked about picking embellishments
Oh
and
yeah.
like a beading. I feel like we should totally talk about that. Again, guys, we're not here at all pretending to be experts or like teach anything, but um we want to at least share like the resources that we like.
Hmm.
And especially we'll revisit in a little bit, like some of the resources that will be great if you're just getting started or you have questions, things like that. But now we've gotten off on this accessories and embellishments tangent. So I feel like we should talk about it
Which
because
I
you
will
are working on this right
always
now.
talk about embellishments. I love embellishments and shiny. So I took my first beading class. I believe it was in person. My mom and I took one at the Stitching Box, and I know I mention my mom all the time, y'all, but Kelsey's my needlepoint bestie, but my mom was the first one, so she does all the good stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah, you get it. But we took I liked my beading class in person more than I did take one online. I liked it more in person because it was that same situation where someone could be like, so this is what you're doing wrong. This is how you fix this part. If you do this again, this is how you fix it. And then this is how you correct it, and then do
Hmm.
it correctly, so I recommend that. I really didn't start beading. The first thing I did do beading on was the Morgan Julia, is the spicy margarita canvas. And I'm
Yes,
so obsessed.
yes.
And of course it's over there, but I'm not going to get up and go get it. I kind of want to though. I'm not going to. Um, that was actually the first time I followed a stitch guide as well, was Morgan Julia's
Oh,
spicy margarita, because I really didn't know. I telling you, I basket weaved so much, and then I would venture out into decorative stitches, like I mentioned last week. But um, yeah, I recommend beading. So what I use is, I'll have to ask my local store. I'll have to ask Kenzie the kind of thread that she sells, but it's almost like fishing line.
oh, I
Um,
have it. I can reach for it real quick.
okay.
Hold on.
I feel like I should have been more prepared. Um, I don't have any beads on me. But yeah, I started with that, and then I also use, I think it's Sundance. I like that beading thread as well, if you want to use a colored beading thread, which sometimes people will recommend if your canvas is blue and you're putting on blue beads, you don't want to use necessarily white beading thread. You want to use blue. Yeah, that one. We'll post a picture of Kelsey holding it up.
This is
That's it. I used that for the first time.
collection of designs, and they have the easy beater as well. Guys, my nails are ratchet. I was gonna paint them today and
I was too.
there
I
was no
was too.
power, so sorry. Um, but yeah, the easy beater is very helpful.
Yeah, it's like a needle minder that you put on your canvas with a sticky top, so you can put your beads on it and then just swoop in with your needle and put a bead on instead of having to like use tweezers, which I don't think anybody ever did. But so I use that beading thread, the fishing line kind of collection. What is it called? Sorry.
The collection designs, yeah,
the
that's right.
collection designs beading thread, and then I
Great.
use size 10
Tulip.
tulip uh beading needles.
Ah, I'm really good at showing things on camera. I
And
have the down.
most stores have, I think that from what I've seen in different stores, they have the tulip beading needles.
Oh, you size 10, these are size 11. I don't know.
I don't think
There's
it,
probably
well,
not
okay,
that much
see,
of a difference.
that's where we are not pretending to be professionals. I don't know if there's a difference. I always use size 10, so I don't know if there's a
I
difference.
bought what they showed me at the store,
Yeah,
so
so listen to the
there's
store owners
that.
and not us.
I
But
was using these to sew the cording onto the
oh,
ornament since
really?
they're a little bit more delicate. I will try any tip that someone gives. So if someone says a beading needle works great, I'll try it and see and then
And you also
see
finish
what
a lot more than I
happens.
do. I don't finish near as much as you do. So what do I know?
I have finished every piece that I have made except for the belt that I have made
That's
for Scott.
crazy to me. That's amazing.
I just
I
it's
know
such an expensive hobby,
it's
y'all.
very
And
expensive.
I obviously when I make this tray for my coffee table, I'm gonna get that finished. And I already have a couple things in my stash like that I'm planning for that I'm going to get finished. But if it's something that I'm putting in my house or quite frankly, like a gift that I'm on a time crunch on or something like that, I'm finishing it
Yeah.
myself because it doesn't have to be perfect. I
No, of
mean,
course not.
I try my hardest to
I
make
mean,
it
you want it to
perfect.
be as good as it can be,
I
sure.
want it to be as good as it can be. I try my hardest to make it perfect, but because I am a perfectionist, but I personally just don't feel the need to send everything off to a finisher because I'm impatient. Um, I don't have time for that. I'll be like, I want my piece done and I want it done now. I'm just gonna do it myself.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
you know, I wanted to find some sort of way to, you know, some sense of affordability in this hobby because we all know it's so expensive.
It is.
And
There's
especially
just
for
there's no other way around it. And I feel bad when
right.
I do feel bad when newer stitchers I mean they get sticker shock and I feel bad because I'm like it is expensive. There's just it is and there's definitely ways to curb that, of course, but it's an expensive hobby and it's
I still get sticker shock all the time, but don't come to me for tips on how to curb the expenses. Like self-finishing is the only way that I found that, and that is literally to partly offset the fact that I just simply cannot be stopped from buying canvases. Like I can't. If I see a
it's okay.
canvas that is new, if I see a canvas that is new, if I see a canvas that I want that's on sale, I don't make the rules. If it's on sale, you have to buy it. Like,
See, and that was me last year, and I had my stash was, I mean, it's still crazy because I've been stitching for so long, but
right.
I also don't need things in my stash that have been sitting there for 6 years because I keep finding new
No.
things and then starting, which I do have. I mean, I have old things. I actually found what was supposed to be a pillow, and I might try to restore it. I bought this, or I'm sure my parents bought it. It was I forget the designer. I'll have to post it and show y'all, but it's a Princess and the Pea. It was supposed to be a pillow, and it's like I don't know, it's probably like a foot and a half big. And I guess I was stitching it for myself and it was too big and I got bored with it. So I just put it to the side. I'm pretty sure my parents bought me that when I was like 11. And so it's old. It's like from 2001 or 2002. And I just found it recently. So I kind of want to, I'm sure I'll have to take out everything I did and then try to put it on stretcher bars
Oh
and
my
do
God.
it. But I don't know what I need with a Princess and the Pea pillow, but I mean,
I
it's
don't
old
know.
and it's
It's
vintage, I guess, at this
cutesy
point. So yeah, it's
nostalgia.
cute. So
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
vintage. It's it'll be a fun thing to have in your childhood. Maybe you'll have another baby one day and it'll be a girl and
Yeah,
it'll be a
maybe.
really cute thing for
That's
a
true. You got a
nursery.
point there. That's a point. That's a good point. I could put it, hold on to
Keepsake.
it. Yeah. I know I don't want to get rid of it, but I'll post it so y'all can see it because it's the tape's coming off on the sides. It's all rolled up. But I mean, I
I
think
just
restore is the best word to what I would have to do with it. I
yes.
would have to restore it.
Yes. I mean, it can be a new project that you tackle.
Yeah. And it's 13 mesh, so it
Restoring
would
it.
be quick. Oh,
Yeah.
that's another thing we didn't talk about 13 mesh versus 18 mesh. Which do you
Oh,
prefer?
okay. My opinion changes, I feel like weekly at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously 13 mesh is great because it goes by so quickly. Like it's so easy. It just feels so easy to stitch. I have been loving a lot of 18 mesh though lately because just the detailing is so good. on
Yeah.
18 mesh, and also I just have a lot lately of 18 mesh ornaments, so they're really small.
So those go by like relatively
Those go by
fast.
quickly too, you know.
Yeah.
Um, they go by probably just as quickly as a bigger 13
Yeah.
mesh because they are, they're small. And so I love this, like with the smaller ornaments too, I feel like a little more accomplished sometimes because I can feel like, if I'm going color
If
by
they're 18
color,
or 13.
if either one, but if they're
Yeah.
18, I still feel really accomplished because I can go color by color and like knock one color out and be like, okay, I'm done with all the pink.
Yeah.
And then it feels like I'm making all this progress. So again, back and forth all the time right now. Right now I think I'm loving 18. It's funny too, something you don't think about with like how the sizes change on things. And like I should think about this as someone who designs canvases. But that's why I have broke from the paint to stitch to remind me to check my sizing sometimes. I'm going to reference this Abigail Cecil one again. I painted the chart on 13 mesh because I was like, oh, this will be quick. Like I'm trying to make a baby gift. Like I want it to be quick.
And it's
But the
huge.
chart ended up being like 5 inches.
But
It,
it's nice. It doesn't,
no,
it
it's
really
really
doesn't look
nice.
that huge. It really doesn't look
It'll
like
be a really cute door
overwhelming.
hanger. But I
Yeah.
went
Oh,
to go
that's good.
stitch it
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna finish it, with like the loop. So
Hmm.
it's more like a door hanger than an ornament. But I went to start stitching it and I was like, wait, this is giant. Like 13 mesh was supposed to be my quick out on this. And
It's taking
it's
like possibly
five
just as
inches
long.
around. I should have just done it on 18 mesh. I might have been done faster.
Yeah.
So that's my rant about, and quite frankly, I actually like don't really care that much when it comes down to it. Like I'm not picking a canvas based on mesh size. I'm picking a canvas based on what it looks like and what I want to turn it into. So like I don't care
Yeah.
what it is.
No.
But if I do a bunch of 18 mesh projects, and sometimes I'll pull a 13 out just for a little palette cleanser, little
Yeah.
quick trade.
Make it fast.
So that's my opinion.
That's good. That's good. I mean, I'm kind of a little bit of an 18 mesh snob. I'll admit it. But I didn't, yes, I always used to be like that. And then but if I saw a canvas that I really liked and realized it was 13, I would be like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I don't even really know what makes me prefer 18 mesh, probably the details. I don't know. I prefer 18 mesh. But then over the summer, I stitched the Rachel Berry Gilded Garden series when I was in the mountains for Memorial Day, and I did all of them in like that weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I'm done. These are amazing. And they still look really pretty and they have the details. So I'm not as
right.
much of an 18 mesh snob anymore, but I prefer it.
Right. Well, there are plenty of 13 mesh lately too that has the details, or just like in general, like
Yeah.
The LaPont Christmas Village, that's all 13 mesh, and like those details are lovely. And I think 13 is good for those because they are a little bit bigger. So if you're making them into like a stand
You
up
want
for
to
a
see like the
Christmas
village.
village,
Yeah.
you want it to stand out. Um, it's funny, it's because it's such a personal preference. And like
Yeah.
it my
There's
preference
no
might
rhyme or
be
reason.
I prefer 18 mesh because it's Monday and then 13 mesh because it's
Yeah.
Friday. Like there's literally no reason behind it. So yeah, I'm like looking up here. I think most of my stash right now is 18 mesh,
Hmm.
but it just happens to be the designs that I've gravitated towards.
I'm trying to
So
think what I've done recently. Most of my stuff that I've done, I'd have to go back through. I can't even remember. Most of my stuff's 18, but I mean, I don't turn my nose up at 13 if I like the
right,
canvas. I
right.
prefer 18, but personally, also because I do a lot of sparkly thread and I find that 13 doesn't
It's not as good
have as
coverage.
much, it's not as good
Mhm.
coverage and
Or as many options.
not as many options, and the details just aren't as there as 18.
Yes. And I'm the same. I use a sparkly thread in probably 80% of my projects, at
Mm-hmm.
least, because I just
Oh,
love them. They look
yeah.
so good. And yeah, that's the availability for fibers for that is better for 18. So
We should
maybe
also
that's why I like
say
it.
if there are new stitchers listening to us, 18 is it's a smaller canvas per inch, so it's smaller. So it's and 13's larger. So I don't think we
This is something we
quickly
should have
covered that. I
clarified
know.
at the very beginning, guys.
I
This is what
know.
we mean when we say we are not here to pretend to teach you
No, we're here to
things.
chat. We're here to chat.
We can teach you about what's in our project bags at all times, and
Yes.
what tools are helpful to get started. I
Oh,
mean,
I do actually I have my son's doctor's appointment stickers on my project bag. My favorite tool that I recently started to use is, I keep it in the package, but is the Snag Nabbit. Have to
oh
have it with me
yes,
always. So these are great if
I love the snag
loose
nabbit.
threads get pulled through and you need to pull them back down so they're not seen. Very quick, very
So
simple.
good.
I love it. Highly
Do you know?
recommend.
Do you know where I keep my snag nabbit? Do you remember at Stitch Club at Forest Acres many moons ago when I forget her name? Um, that sweet lady who was always at Stitch Club and made presents for everyone. And remember,
Meg.
Meg. Remember when Meg made those little beading little glass
Yeah, the
bead
little,
jars for
mhm.
needles and stuff? I keep my snag nabbits in there in my project bag at all
What a good
times.
idea. Her little
Yes.
Cersei that
Yes.
day. I love her. Yes.
So cute. So cute. What else? Show us what else is in your project bag.
Well, this is all I'm not kidding when I say I love sparkles. These are all
What is this for right now?
my Santa, my squatty Santa. It's all and look, see, there's the Splendor I talked about getting, and I now know how to use it. Thanks, Mom. And these are all I got a ton of sparkle. That's all I love to stitch with. But I really want him sparkly because he's going to be out at Christmas time, and I need to now fix all these.
That's true.
So he'll
I
be like
mean,
glittery in the Christmas lights. Fix all these.
that's true.
So he'll
I
be like
mean,
glittery in the Christmas lights.
I am the same.
Yeah, see?
I'm
These
about
are
to
all
start
shoved in
this
this is my,
parrot is gonna be all
I
sparkles.
love, that's Jimmy Buffett, right?
Yeah, this is our
Yeah.
Nelia's parrot, but all sparkles.
Yes, I can't, and I'm also, I think, this is the Bella Lusso, I believe is the brand name. I'm gonna turkey work with
Oh,
this.
okay. So the
Needlepoint.com
cups.
recommends Bella Lusso for like Santa stuff, I believe. I might have misquoted that, but I know it's Bella Lusso. That's why I have it, but I don't remember if that's the only thing they recommend for Santa. I'll have to fact check that and let y'all know. I need to just like stop saying things.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We believe you. What
So,
else? What else you
yeah.
got in there? Trying
Oh
to look.
gosh. Let's see. Oh, of course, I have my laying tool, the best laying tool.
Yes.
So I didn't take it out. I got this at the Stitching Fox, and it's just, I have to use this for the Splendor. Highly recommend using a laying tool if you don't want your threads to get all twisted. And then sometimes people are like, oh, I use my fingers. And I think saw someone who said they used a pencil.
That is where
Which,
we talked about last week that I am a big trolley needle girly.
yes,
That's what I use instead. I'm so unprepared today, guys,
I know.
because
I'm sorry. I am
my
too. I should
stuff
have had
is
all my stuff.
everywhere because we were running all over the
I was
place.
not planning on being in my living room, so it's fine.
So I don't have a trolley needle, but it's one of the ones that it hooks on your finger. And my only gripe about the trolley needle is that I do have to take it off to lift up my glass of wine when I'm stitching because it is metal and it will make me drop my glass. So one day that's going to be my next project is figuring out a fashioning something for the trolley needle that you can just keep on your finger and pick up your glass of wine, which
That's a
is
good idea.
ridiculous.
You could do it with the other hand. Your wine.
That hand's holding my needle.
Oh, good point. Good point. Fair
My
enough.
needle is in my right hand.
Scott should just hand you your wine when you need it. Just put a straw in there.
Good sir, please give me a sip of my wine. Man, my husband does a lot of things for me, and if I asked him to do that, he would be like, "You are insane."
I would see. I wouldn't do it for my husband, so I can't ask him to do that for me. So I don't
You're
know.
like digging around in there a lot.
I know. I'm sorry. I was putting it back. Also, I recommend this is the needlepoint.com cheat sheet for
Oh yes.
strand and ply. So if you guys threads that you're learning for the first time, or you're just not sure, berry velvet, vineyard, silk, all the good stuff. This is on their website. I'll put a link, I guess, on our story as well. Highly recommend this. That's what I keep. That's all I've got in this
That's
project bag.
that's very smart. I usually keep, again, unprepared because I left it out there. My project bag right now, but I keep a copy of Stitches to Go in my project bag in case I
Mm,
happen to be working on something and I want to um, venture out into not basket weave. I do keep a copy of that on hand. And then I also have the Maker's Mark is another really good book of stitches. And
yes.
I got the card set and I
Oh,
hole punched the cards and put them on a little loop. Try and reach that. Put them on a little loop so that
yeah. It's like easy
I
to.
can easily take that with me or easily separate um oh my god, my project bag, my big needlepoint tote. I have like a boat tote on
Yeah,
my
me too.
floor
I
that has
know.
like all the things in it, and it is like just the most chaotic
While you're doing
bag
that, I
I've
will
ever
say
seen.
another good way to save money with needlepoint is the books are great. I have several books, but don't sleep on Pinterest. I go on Pinterest all
That's
the time
true.
for stitches, and that's a really easy free resource if you
Th-
need inspiration.
This is the deck. I hole punch them and put them on this ring.
Well
This
done.
is so much easier than the book. I have seen people too, though, take the book and take it to like a Staples or a FedEx and get the binding pulled off and get it spiral bound so that it's easier to
Oh,
lay
wow.
flat, because the book does have like a binding on it. So I have seen
Oh,
people get this taken off, get it spiral bound so that you can lay it flat and it's a little bit easier
that's a
to
big
use while
book
you're
too.
stitching.
I don't have that one, but I like how thin it is because I have some of the Mary Whimsical
Yes,
ones, and that those are pretty thick, so they're difficult to cart around. So I like
this
how
one
a
is a great
little bit
book.
thinner.
It's very detailed and I love that it's all in color. So it makes
Hmm.
it like easier to see. And when she shows like she'll show how to like two-tone a stitch or something like that. But the
Yeah,
cards are
I like the
great.
picture.
Um, especially because if you were just working on like one or two decorative stitches on a piece, you could just take those two cards or whatever in your project bag
Oh
and
yeah,
not
I
the
would
whole
lose those so
thing.
fast. I would. They'd be all over the place, like my whips and my needle minders. They'd be all over the place.
Oh, needle miners, I just ordered a new one. Obsessed with them. Um, but I have so many, they're all magneted on my cart over here. But other good things to have are a needle threader, in case you don't.
Yes.
Um, and good scissors. These are flamingo ones that Caroline from Atlantic Blue sent me in one of
Those
the
are really, I think
packages,
they're
and I
so
think they're
cute.
so
They're
cute.
so fun.
But you need a good pair of scissors, and like that's you really don't need a ton of tools to get started. Again, don't listen to
No,
me. I'm the person who thinks I have to have all of the accessories, all the tools, all the everything at once, and that will just make me be better at whatever I'm doing if I have all the gear.
I have
Um,
seen people who say they don't need a needle threader, which is I have to have one, or else it's not going to work for me.
oh,
People just don't use
I
it.
cannot get that.
Mm. No, I
Um,
struggle with the beading and the thread because you can't use a threader with beads, and
yes,
so it's very
yes,
I have to have a needle threader. So
yes.
respect to those who don't need one because I have to.
I would never get anything done because I
No,
would simply never be able to
I'd be
get
struggling the whole time.
the
Yep,
thread on the needle. Um, Also controversial, but I do lick my thread
I do
still
too.
as well. Are you a thread licker? I
Yes.
am for sure.
Unless I just had a sip of coffee or something, I don't because you don't want your thread to stain. But yes, I do. I am a thread licker.
Mostly I think with DMC though, because it kind of grosses me out to lick silk and ivory because it's so
It's so
like
fuzzy.
so
Yeah.
fuzzy.
Fireworks, especially.
I don't like that either.
All of the all of the sparkly stuff. I will.
Yeah.
Sorry, mom.
She's like, how dare
Just like,
you?
ugh.
How dare
I
you?
taught you better than that.
But yeah,
Oh
again, you
well.
don't need a ton of tools. Resources are going to be your biggest friend. We will share links on our Instagram of kind of all of our favorite um, resource links that we have found.
Mhm.
Again, we could talk about Needlepoint 101, but so many people have already made excellent Needlepoint 101 cheat sheets, guides,
Yeah.
everything.
We're more
Penny
than happy to
Lynn,
direct you. Yes.
right? Like Penny Lynn has a really great, really comprehensive terminology sheet.
Mhm.
We've talked about the KCN Stitch Falls. They have lots of resources on their blog too. Needlepoint.com has tons of resources on their blog
Tons.
and their website. Depending on what designer you order from, they might include little cheat sheets as well. I actually ordered a
Mhm.
canvas from Greystone a few weeks ago because I ordered the Whip Stitch, sorry, not Whip Stitch, Wheelhouse Lover Bow Tote. And
Oh yeah,
Greystone
that's
was
cute.
doing because again, Swifty over here, Greystone was doing a needlepoint friendship bracelet if you bought that canvas from her. So I ordered it from
Oh yeah.
her. And not only is her packaging just like beautiful, it's
Amazing. It's
amazingly
a
done.
piece of art in itself. Yes.
It really is. But she includes this really cute trifold um
Like
like
pamphlet kind of deal.
pamphlet kind of. It's small, it's like the size of a note card. It folds out and opens, but it shows basket weave, it shows continental, it shows tent, and it has like some of the tools you would need, and it's kind of like getting started, like tips for getting started. And I thought it was so cute and probably so helpful for someone who has maybe never stitched before. And if that's where they
Mhm.
order their first canvas from, I felt like that was a very nice touch.
It
Um,
is. It
because
is.
especially because people don't need to provide resources. Like,
No, that's completely
no,
voluntary. It's
it's
super
so
nice of them.
voluntary. It's such a nice thing for them to take extra time to do that. So I really, really appreciated that little touch. I thought it was great.
Yeah. And I think it's really great when people, if you're just starting out, it's picking your canvas. That's really, first of all, it's a lot of fun. And there's so many, if you are like, nautical, Morgan Julia has a ton of nautical canvases, florals. Who has, Penny Lynn has a lot of florals.
Penny
If
Lynn has
you're,
a lot of
if
florals,
you're
a lot of
shopping
good.
online, I'm a shop local. I just am. I mean, I live at it.
Right.
I like to go to the store first
Because it's
before
It's
it's
fun.
fun. And I'm lucky because I have a ton in the Carolinas are all around me. So, because I'm in the Midlands, so I can drive to Landrum, I can drive to, you know, Rock Hill,
Augusta.
Columbia, Augusta, well, and not Aiken. I do miss Aiken store. Yeah, Augusta. So, oh my gosh, I love Augusta store. And then Charleston now, and didn't really make it a lot to Eastern North Carolina because that's far, but I'm lucky to have a ton of stores around me. So
Hmm.
I always encourage, I prefer it because it's just fun for me. Honestly, being at my local store reminds me that I'm actually not at work and I'm there to enjoy myself. So that's what's fun for me about shopping at my local
It's
store.
nice me time,
Yeah.
for
Hmm.
sure. Plus, to pick fibers, so easy.
Yeah. So you can see them.
Just like I need to see them. I personally one that needs to
And
see them.
my store's really patient. A lot of the times I'll have my 3-year-old, but he hasn't been since he turned 3 a few weeks ago. But I mean, they're really nice. They're really patient with him because he touches and I don't let him touch. I'm not one of those moms who's like, you can touch anything, no problem. But I mean, he'll run up to something and like the color and he, whips it off the wall and Kenzie's really
Yes.
patient. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so
And I'm
sorry
over
chasing him
like
around.
mortified,
I
like
know, I hate it, but we learned to play I Spy at the needlepoint store, and that keeps him busy. I get a good 10 minutes. I have to know what I need to get and I have to get it quickly, but I get a good 10 minutes with him playing I Spy with all the
that's
beautiful canvases on the wall. So
so smart.
I'm
Oh my God,
not
I
much of
didn't
a
even
mom
think of
hacker,
that.
but not a much of a mom hacker, but that's a decent hack that I've learned
All right, so pro
with
tip, if
taking
you bring your kid to the
bring your
needlepoint
kid,
store,
play I Spy, and yeah, I mean it works
mine
out.
likes to help do the shopping. So I let her hold because she wants to touch everything. Once I pick a fiber, I'm like, okay, you gotta hold this for me so we can buy it.
Please
And
don't
so
drop it
she
on the
likes to
floor.
hold them all and she likes to bring them up to the counter and like put them on the
Yeah.
counter and like check out. So sometimes
Hmm.
I'll like give her the credit card to hand over because
There
she
you
loves
go.
to like pay.
To buy it.
Like, babe, you got your wallet over here?
Yeah. Um, it's good for boys and girls. My son, he's like, we're gonna go to the needlepoint store, and I'm like, heck yeah, bud, let's go. So
Yeah, they
he
think
loves
it's
all the
fun.
colors and the pictures, and like I said, the ladies at my store, but they're so nice and so patient with him, which is I'm super grateful because I'm sure you're like, oh, great, here comes a little
Ugh.
kid, but they're
I was
great.
so nervous the first time that I brought her to a store, and my first time was at Forest Acres as well. And again, they're so nice. And again, I mentioned last week, Needlepoint Junction is always so nice when I have her in the store. Like they love her. But the first time I was bringing her into a store, I was so nervous because you know how, like, as a mom, you just get nervous and overwhelmed
The
sometimes about
anxiety,
like,
yes.
yeah, I had anxiety about bringing her with me. I was like, can I even bring her with me? Is this appropriate? Like, I shouldn't be embarrassed. I shouldn't be nervous about it. But like, I was like, oh my God, she's going to mess
Well,
something
I mean,
up and they're going to hate me and they're going to be like, can you please don't come shop here again? And I like, that was like, oh, that was what was running through my head. And so it's like, again, no one's obligated to be like
no,
super
you don't. We're not asking
willing
people
to
to
have a
babysit.
kid to like,
No, of course.
right. But like, it's so, it relieves a lot of stress when it feels like a welcome environment and like they
Yeah.
don't care because
Hmm.
I care. I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna mess something up. She's gonna like pull a canvas off a wall and rip it or something. And like
Hmm.
my mind just goes to the worst because
I recommend playing I Spy. That I swear it gets me about 10 minutes. And then I mean, like I said, I have to be in and out, but I get about 10 minutes with playing I Spy.
that's quick. That's a quick
It's
turn.
you have to know what you need, and then you have to, yeah, for me,
Right.
my
I
situation.
and that's the thing, like I like to spend time in there and I did, when we would go together at Forest Acres because it was still like 30 minutes from me, which is not
Yeah.
far at all, but like
It's a trip.
it's a trip.
Yeah,
You
it
have to
is.
set aside some time to go. And now it's my store, Junction is like 40 minutes from me. So
Oh,
it
wow.
is like a whole thing.
Hmm.
And I try to go when I myself have time to go without a child
Oh,
because
I prefer it.
it's so
I
much
prefer it.
it's so much easier. And this is where my my husband will always be like, oh girl, every time I make a trip to the store because it always is so expensive. But it's
Yeah.
like I
I
try
had to
and
get what I needed.
I try and save up. Like I'll go get like 10 things at one time because
I know
okay,
you do.
this
It's
can't
so
help it.
funny.
But it's
It's
like
so funny.
this is my time to go for
Yeah.
my one time in like 2 to 3 months
Yes.
that I know I have this chunk of time without my child there that I can take this time and go do it. I'm going to make it worthwhile. I'm gonna like get stuff for like a bunch of projects and things like that because
Yeah.
it's not always you can't always just run in.
No,
Oh,
no.
I
I
gotta
mean,
run in and grab something. Like that's not always possible.
I
So
used to
gotta
do it on my
maximize the
lunch
time.
hour. Yeah. I used to do it on my lunch hour all the time. And then I changed jobs earlier this year into where I'm not able to just like get up and go and leave. Truly I leave campus because I work at USC now. So it's difficult because first of all, there are kids everywhere. And second of all, it's not easy for me and what my job is now for me just to pick up and go. So,
Right.
yeah, no,
Right.
I have to set aside some time.
So
Mostly
yeah,
it's a weekend jaunt for me, but I am close. I'm very close to my store, which I want it to
you're
stay that
so
way.
close.
I want it
I'm
to stay
so
that way.
jealous.
So I always go to my store first. I just always will. But it's because it's just a nice reminder that I'm not at work. I am in my favorite place and
You're
I'm
doing something
doing
for
my favorite
yourself.
thing. Yeah, I
Right.
love it.
Right. No, it is. I do love being at a store because there's so much to browse. I love looking at the
Hmm.
accessories. You never know what you're gonna find there, kind of, especially because so many stores
Yeah.
are constantly like stocking inventory or getting new canvases in, things like that.
Hmm.
Um, but you also get lots of inspiration there, which I love
Yeah.
because I'm constantly looking for different ways to display my needlepoint. And
Hmm.
again, we'll talk about it, but like you get so much inspiration walking around an
I
LNS and
mean, just
seeing
people like
finishes
picking
that
up their
people do
finishing. Yeah. You can
or
see a
talking to
lot.
other people.
Hmm.
Like someone will come up and be like, oh, what are you going to do with this? And I'll be like, I have no idea.
Yeah. Do you like this or that? And they're like, actually, I like this. And they're like, oh, that's genius. That happens to me all the time.
Which I used to think that you needed to know what you were going to do with your canvas, like what you were going to turn it into before you started a project. And I like wholeheartedly don't think that anymore because I just want to like stitch what brings me joy and like hope. you know, the inspiration will come at some point about what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
I think I will say for like your first project, it is helpful if you have kind of a goal in mind because then you can kind
Yeah.
of
I mean, if you think you, I
tailor
mean,
what you're doing.
I also would recommend, I know a lot of people, especially with newer stitchers, they've seen a lot of stockings have gone viral. Have you seen that on Instagram? And
Lots of stockings.
a lot of people who are new to needlepoint say, I'm going to do a stocking for my kid. And I'm like, that's totally cool. And you can absolutely do that. I would recommend something smaller to start because first of all, that's a huge expense to try something that you haven't tried before. Or if you're, you know, something that's, I mean, I bought a stocking over the summer, but I haven't even, it's intimidating. Like a lot of people,
Right.
what I'm trying to say is I would recommend starting a little bit smaller with your first piece because something like a stocking or even a pillow, something huge is going to be for me, it would feel very intimidating and to where I'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I changed my mind. And that's,
Right. I feel like I'm not going to be able to do a stocking for a while, just so the sheer intimidation factor. Like, I am so impressed by all the people that you see on Instagram who we know have small children and
mm-hmm,
who are like pumping out these amazing stockings.
I
I'm
know.
like, I am so impressed by that because that is such intricate detail. It's such a lengthy
Mm-hmm.
project.
Yeah.
Like, right now, I just prefer quick quick
Yeah.
projects that I can be
Mm-hmm.
done with. I feel like I need to have the time to sit down with a stocking. It feels daunting to do a stocking in like 1 hour
I will
increments,
say
like once a week.
that is probably something that you do want to plan, like the stitches and
Yes.
stuff, and not, you know, wing it. My son does have a stocking. My mom did it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And we do
Mhm.
Christmas at their house every year. So the stocking stays there, but I have a picture. I think I have a picture of it on Instagram. She certainly does. Um, but yeah, I've done mini stockings. I stitched two mini stockings for my friend's little girls. I think that was last year.
Yes, that was last year.
That was last year, and that was all basket weave and some beads. It was nothing. I mean, I was just like, it was all basket weave and some beads, but it was pretty. I mean, it's sparkly
Yeah.
and pretty.
Yeah, I would want to really plan out stitches, fibers, everything before I got started on that. I don't know if you
Yeah,
follow Amanda Vogels on Instagram, but she is
I don't know if I
doing a
do.
stocking for her daughter right now, and it's so cute. Like her background stitches that she's doing, like are so cute.
Hmm.
I'm so impressed by them, but I'm like too scared to do one
They're
still.
super intimidating, and I mean, you have to. I mean, I this is probably more the traditionalist in me, but I would say, like for me, I would. You have to have the stand. You have to have the scroll or the frame or the stretcher. Probably the scroll, and it would be really difficult to do free-handed a stocking,
Oh yeah,
in my
it's so
opinion.
big. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just big.
they're huge. Yeah,
It's
you can
hard to
get smaller
hold.
ones. But the
Quite
traditionalist in me
frankly,
would say you have to have the frame, the stand
yeah.
and the scroll.
I still have PTSD from doing a belt for my husband last year, which is like a belt is nothing compared to a stocking. But I don't know why that belt took me
I
so
don't either.
very long to do. It took me forever. I was like, why this belt? I was like, I think this belt was growing as I was doing it. It was getting longer because it did not end. It
Belts
took
take me
me
forever.
forever.
I stitched my husband, I think three, and I mean they take me forever, but
It's
they're
this
long.
wide. Why
I
did it
know.
take so long?
Because it's
It's
just ongoing and it's just ugh.
Oh, I was like, I don't think I'll ever be able to do a belt again. Give me like 20 years before I can do a belt again.
I know.
A belt is pretty repetitive though, and like plain, and you do have to do basket weave typically, so it'll stay tighter. And like, I
I
think
would
that's what
recommend
someone
basket
told
weave on a
me.
belt.
Like, and like it's got a big background color. Like,
Hmm.
you know, it was a Atlanta Braves belt. So it was like the little icons, like the logo and a baseball and
Hmm.
Braves. But then you have such a long background. And I think that's why it took forever because it's like one color
Yeah,
for
it's not
this long. Whereas
I
a
don't love
stocking has
belts.
more details. Like you can switch it up a little bit more. A
Yeah,
belt is very monotonous. Like it's just, I don't know. I got over it and I had to stop and start.
I
It was his
know.
Father's Day present last year and he got it in like
This year, spring.
no, he got it in like November. Oops.
Oh, well, that's good. That's a The same year is still pretty good.
It was the same year. It was the same year.
The same year's still pretty good.
I started stitching it in secret because I wanted it to be a surprise for Father's Day. And I was like, this is never gonna get done if I can
Yeah, it
only
can't do
stitch this
it.
in secret.
You're like,
So I had to be
sorry,
like,
happy Father's
surprise,
Day.
you're getting a belt. It's gonna take me a while, but like I gotta work on this in front of you.
I tell you what, I mentioned the other day about how people made fun of me and stuff in college and like for needlepointing. There were, I think I was needlepointing at my house one time. This is a quick tangent. I know we were running long. I was needlepointing and the guys were making fun of me. They're like, oh, you know, whatever. And then they found my dad walked in one time and visited and was wearing, my mom's done probably 24 needlepoint belts for him. And he had one on and the guys were like, oh, I want a needlepoint belt. Lillian, can you do me a belt? And I was like, absolutely not.
No,
So
because you just made fun of me.
yeah,
You
I'm
don't
never
deserve
gonna make
one.
you a belt and you're never gonna get one. Not from me. So
Well, I feel like we have kind of rambled this episode, and
we have,
again, this is how we talk when we're at Stitch Club. So,
I think it's our first video too. We
this is
will,
our first video, so we're sorry.
yeah. Don't write us
Apologize.
off yet, please.
Apologize to the Academy if you're a giggler. You get that reference. Just
Good
hanging
idea
out
for
with
a
them. So
canvas.
I know it is. No one steal that.
So I'll be quiet.
Dibs.
I'll text you. I'll text you my ideas from now on.
I call dibs on apologize to the Academy. But yes, this will be our first video. We'll pull some clips out. But if we felt a little awkward, looked a
Yeah,
little awkward, we'll get the hang of recording this on video.
we
And
will.
we
We will. Don't write us off quite yet, y'all.
and again, we were very disheveled because of the hurricane. So sorry about that.
Yes.
Today was like
Yes.
chaos. We're recording this on Friday. If we didn't mention that the day the hurricane happened. Again, thank you for being here with us. And
The
we
next one,
will,
I think we're talking about seasonal stitching.
yes,
I think that was the plan. So
that's the
please.
plan. I mean, we're getting into fall. It's a great time to come
Mhm.
up on some prime seasonal stitching. So
Agreed.
tune in. We'll put another question box on Instagram to talk
Yeah,
about seasonal whips. And
it'll be
yeah,
fun.
we hope you guys join us again next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much, y'all.
Bye,
See you
guys.
next time. Oh, stop recording.